Welcome back to JBTAV, where we inform you the latest Canadian reports. Did you know that the origin word for cultural comes from a Latin word cultura, and the Latin root cult means cultivating or growing? As for policy, it comes from a Greek word polis, which means city, and together it means growing city. Cultural policy refers to the government measures to protect activities that are defined as cultural, such as painting, sculpture, music, and dance. In 2018, the new federal promised to provide $448.5 million over the next 5 years towards the Canada Summer Jobs Program. Well, what is Canada's Summer Jobs Program, you might ask? Canada's Summer Jobs Program is a program that focuses on helping people between the age of 15 to 30 to get fully paid experience work jobs. It's a program where cultural organization and arts depend on because arts organization receives more staff resources. And in the recent news, the government wants the kids to learn more about censorship. First and foremost, there are 4 types of censorship. First, withholding information. Withholding information is sharing information to the public, but holding back with personal information such as name and address. Second, destroying information. Destroying information is when you fully eradicate or physically or electronically and leaving no trace behind. Altering information. Altering information has bias involved in it. When someone alters information, it's usually for a benefit of someone, a story with one-sided perspective. Lastly, self-censorship. It's when you stop yourself from revealing the entire truth. This censorship is usually done out of fear of something or someone. Well, moving on to the media. Vincent?
Oh wow, great information you provide us today on. Some very strong information you just put out. But today, I'll be talking about what is done in the media and how it promotes Canadian censorship. Where media like advertisements, news channel, music, newspaper, magazines, all sorts of things are related to one thing, and that is the media of Canada. We got this one thing called the broadcasting sector, where Canada has a government-funded broadcaster called the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, Société Canada, which operates radio and TV networks in English and French throughout of Canada. This is the very first step of how Canada is promoted with media, because we, of course, got television, magazines, and newspaper, all primarily profit for a corporation based on advertisement, subscription, and other sales related revenues. CTV is presently the country's most watched network and is owned by Bell Media. Bell Media, the company that gives you 10 gigabytes for $100 a month. Pish posh, we're with Rogers, 10 times better. Anyways, CTV has remained the country's highest rated television network since 2002. Wowee, 2002. That was when most of us were born. Anyways, this television network promotes Canada itself heavily by providing Canada's citizens global news on a daily. But we can do better than we want to, because right now we're not even trying. Anyways, the radio plays a huge role in introducing listeners to new music and artists every single day. The CRTC policies and regulations ensure that Canadian works are played on a Canadian radio station. Each legal station is required to give a percentage of its weekly music broadcasted to Canadian content. This required amount of Canadian content depends on both of the type of radio station and the type of music it broadcasts, such as popular music like God's Plan by Drake or Love Yourself by Justin Bieber. Personally, that song is my favorite though. Not no janky music though, like Sicko Mode or Highest in the Room by A$AP Rocky. What the hell? But how commercial works in radio stations is that it requires English language and French language stations, and it must make sure that at least 35% of the popular music they broadcast each week is Canadian content, not no 21 Savage who is from the United Kingdom. That guy got imported back. We don't accept that stuff here, dude, because that way Canada can be promoted heavily by putting on Canadian artists' songs on. In other stories, CBC radio station is also famous broadcasting network throughout of Canada radio stations. Why Canada is promoted so much, it is played throughout of Canada frequently. However, the broadcasting network must ensure that at least 50% of their popular music selection broadcasts each week are Canadian content as well. It comes to see that Canadian promotion is very important in radio stations throughout Canada, and there are certain rules and curriculum each station must follow. That way Canada can be promoted heavily. Anyways, we got this thing called the Globe and Mail, which is a Canadian newspaper printed in 5 cities in Western and Central Canada, keeping the Canadians up to date with recent news on the daily. This will help Canada because of the daily information we be getting to talk about Canadian news. Wow, what a great way to promote ourselves, eh? Hello Canada. This is a Canadian entertainment magazine that keeps up to date with celebrity news, expert royal coverage, and lifestyle features, including the hottest fashion and beauty trends all over Canada. Given Canada's small market and its position next to the dominant producer of feature films, the United States, the Canadian film industry receives a substantial assistance from the government. Wow, that's pretty cool, eh? Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Now, moving on to Tony, who's going to be talking about Canada laws. On to you, Tony.
Thank you, Vincent. And today we're talking about how Canadian laws protect our identity as a Canadian. The Canadian Human Rights Act in 1977 ensures the opportunity from individuals from discrimination. For example, if you're to work at a place and your skin color is not the specific color they want, they are not allowed to do that anymore because now it is against the law to discriminate each other's kind and culture. Another Canadian law is to protect the Canadian phone companies by forbidding foreign ownership of major telecom companies. Basically meaning that different phone companies from different countries that are not from Canada are not allowed to make their way into Canada, because by closing off major competitors from different countries is a way to protect Canada industry. By having an unknown foreign phone company can change how the market values for a Canadian industry and force the phone companies to go out of business, and everybody loves their phone. And another recent law in Richmond that has just came upon is that signs that contain foreign languages must require 50% of Canadian official language, which is either English or French. This is important because by having a Canadian language shows their Canadian culture, because being a resident in Canada and being a part of Canada is to show that you can speak one of the Canadian official languages to represent Canadian identity. If we lose Canadian languages, then we lose our sense of identity. And now finally, we have Jaden talking about the industry that project Canadian identity. Now on to Jaden at the other studio.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I understand. Oh, interesting. That is something to ponder. Very interesting. Wait a minute. What'd you say?
Get off your freaking phone right now, you moron.
On air?
No, what do you even just say?
Like right now?
Yes, idiot.
Okay, I'm gonna call you back.
Damn moron.
Thank you.
Tony.
Anyway, let us continue. In regards to the CFL, this industry has set rules to protect the entirety of the league from becoming dominated by American players. Of the 46-player roster, the CFL has set restrictions on the number of international players that are allowed to play on the team. Those international players mostly being American. 20 international players are allowed to play on a CFL team. Though this is in the interest of Canadian teams to fill their 20 spots with players that play a more prominent role in the team, it does lead to such players as punters, kickers, being set aside, as these teams rather use these spots on skilled players. The CFL is looked at by Americans as a stepping stone to the NFL if they went undrafted. So for the CFL to restrict the amount of talent entering the league, it hindered American players from showcasing their talent because of lack of pro football leagues. These players' two options are to continue to work out and pray they make an NFL team, or work on their craft in the CFL. Alright, now let's get into the nitty gritty of it, alright? Let's protect Canadian farmers. Products made in Canada are normally more expensive compared to products overseas, as well as in America. But these products are advertised as being better quality. For these industries to continue to support Canadian businesses, it helps strengthen Canadian economy, as Canadian money is being recycled into Canadian businesses. For example, if you look at Dairyland, Canada protects them by not allowing large American milk companies to come in and take over the market. This one protects the Canadian economy, as Canadian money is still continuously recycled back into Canadians. And two, it protects Canadian milk farmers from going out of business. Now, this is just people's livelihoods we're looking at. So for Canada to actually care, something special. Well, I'm getting a call. Yeah. What do you mean you're cutting our time? What did we do? What? Yeah. Okay, well, whatever. Alright, well, you heard it. They're cutting our time because they need time slots or whatever. So, that's all we have for today, folks. I would like to thank our amazing anchormen, Tony, Arn, and Vincent, for joining us tonight. And special thanks to our boy, Brendan Yee, for coming on the show tonight. From everyone at JBTAV, I'd like to say good night. This is Jaden Chauhan.